Hey folks, it's Dr. Brenda, financial coach, creator of the DreamPlanSaveDo program, and this seems like a really great place to film this introduction. Hey, please subscribe below. I am in Montana at the entrance to Glacier National Park, and you can see it's kind of hazy behind me. We've got wildfires, so it's not a real clear view. I'm in the middle of a lake, which is about the only place where I can get cell reception, so work is going to be a little bit more difficult, spending a lot of time at a coffee shop this time. And today what I want to talk about for Money Monday is wants versus needs. So I have a video I'm going to play which talks about the needs versus wants. I've got a little tracker. It's in Excel or Google, and I'm going to add that link to the description. But the basics, yeah, and why is this a good place? Because I'm in a place where, okay, you know, you want to go, you want to go out on the lake, you want a kayak, you want a boat, you want an RV, you want all this stuff, but do you need it? So this is my little perk. I bought an inflatable kayak. I've got my life vest on because I'm not so confident that I've inflated it as much as I could, but it doesn't feel quite right to me. So just in case I dive into the lake, I am set with my life preserver, my life jacket on. But it is about wants versus needs. When we talk about, say, financial freedom, you get there by increasing your income and by cutting your expenses. Cutting your expenses, that includes debt expenses too. But one of the things that you do is you become very cognizant of your spending habits. So one of the things I ask people to do is to go through the last 30 days or the last month, go through your credit cards, go through your purchases, and write down everything you bought. I mean, you know, you go to the grocery store, you bought some groceries, right? So that's not so bad, but write down everything that you bought, as much as you can, and classify it as a want versus a need. And this is where, you know, it's make sure you know that. So, you know, my inflatable kayak, it's a want, it's not a need. I wanted it. Versus, you know, I've got to get fruits and vegetables, and I've got to prepare a good meal. That's a need. Going out to the restaurant, that's a want. So this is I challenge you, and you know, hang around for this video, because yeah, I'm just gonna show you how I go about doing this and how I've categorized it. And you're welcome to use the Google sheet, the Excel sheet, or do whatever, do your own thing. I'd love to know, hey, report back, tell me what percentage of your expenses from last month or last 30 days were used for wants. Okay, what percentage? And it'd be nice, you know, I'd love to see, you know, is it 50%, is it 25%, is it 5%? It's all about prioritizing, but this is to become cognizant of, hey, what's my spending like? So yeah, report back, let me know how you're doing. Hey, I'm cooking up some really cool stuff. So this fall, I want to do my first workshop on financial freedom for women. And I'm going to, you know, be giving you some information as we start to roll that out. But let me know in the comments if you're interested, and give me your email address, and I'll make sure that I get that information to you. So, yep. All right, stick around to learn how to use the needs versus wants tracker. Check back in. Let me know how you did. Hey, please subscribe. It would really help me a lot. All right, and if you do subscribe, thanks so much. Let your friends know, and you know, think about DreamPlanSaveDo. You guys take it easy. Bye-bye. This is the wants versus needs tracker. What I'm looking at here is the Excel spreadsheet. So if you have a Google sheet, it may look a little bit differently. So let me walk you through the basics here. We have two tabs. We're looking at the expenses tab, and a number of these items, the expense category, the payment method, and want or need, those are connected to drop-down lists. So if you click on here, you can get to the drop-down list, and you can see the items that I've I've entered here. I've got 5 different payment methods, and then expense categories. There's quite a laundry list. These are your most common expenses. What I would recommend you do is, if there are things in here that you don't see, things you don't use, for instance, maybe you don't have any pets, perhaps there's something else that you spend a lot of money on, go ahead and just swap it out. Here's the wants or needs. So you shouldn't need to really monkey around with the drop-down list. It depends on how familiar you are with spreadsheets. So let's get to the meat of this, the wants versus needs. So what I'd like you to do is you go back in and collect your information from credit cards and debit cards, and hopefully if you use cash, you remember what you used it for, and collect that information. Try to be as detailed as possible, and I'd like for you to cover this for at least 2 weeks. If you can go back the previous month, that's terrific, but try at least 2 weeks. So I'm going to walk you through some examples. I have these examples all set up here, and I'm just going to override them and then continue along. And you can see that this is set up now for these individual examples. So what it does is, this is automatic. So it's going to automatically calculate how much money you spent on wants and needs, and it will give you the percentage there. This is also automatic, so it will give you a cumulative amount. So these are items that are set there. The formulas are all there. All you need to do is focus on this left part, which looks like the old-fashioned checkbook register. So I'm going to go ahead, enter some items so that you can get a good feel of what we're going to do. So I'm going to start with, say, April 2nd. And yes, I used a credit card, and I used it at the vet clinic. The expense category, I do have one here. There it is, pet supplies and vet bills. And to me, yes, I had an ill cat. Have to get that cat feeling better. So that definitely is a need for me. And vet bills are never too cheap, $166. So then we're going to come over here, and I'm going to say on the 3rd of the month, let's say my health insurance bill automatically comes out of my checking account. So it's an electronic funds transfer. And it is going to go to the outrageous insurance company, because that's about how I feel about that particular bill. And this is going to go, I have several insurance categories. This is health insurance. It is a need, and it's a very expensive need. And unfortunately, that reflects a bit of reality as well. So I'm going to go create a transaction for April 4th. And I'm going to use, let's go with the credit card. And I'm going to run to Target and make some purchases. So this is where it can get a little bit tricky if you have multiple items under different categories that you're purchasing. I mean, don't be too, it's really up to you. You try to do your best, but if you're guesstimating, that's just fine. So I've gone to Target, and I was there to purchase personal necessities, soap, shampoo, all of that fun stuff. And those are things that I do need. And I spent, let's say, $35.99. But just for fun, I'm going to say, it's not all I spent at Target. I did see an item. So I'm going to write Target in here again. And I ended up buying a gift for my daughter. And it was definitely a want. There's no birthday, there's no holiday. It was just something that I thought she would appreciate, so I made that purchase. And let's say I spent $21.97 on it. So you can see that is my first want purchase. And then I'm going to come over to, let's say I'm on 4.8, and I am using, just for fun, a debit card. And I'm going to go to Trader Joe's, my favorite grocery store. And so I'm going to look for groceries. And pretty much I shop all my, those are my needs. I need to eat, and my bill will just say is $59.27. So those are all examples, and what I would do is I would just continue along this path. So let's say I wanted to pay cash. I splurged, let's make this $4.10. And I splurged at the tea shop, and I'll put it under dining out, happy hours. That was a want. I did not need to make that purchase, and we'll just say I spent $3.18. So as I enter items, this information constantly changes. So you can see right now, at least for this short week and hypothetical example, that most of my expenses are spent on needs, and a large part of that is due to, right here, the health insurance. That basically really pushed up my needs, and the other one was the pet supplies. So far, that's a pretty good ratio. You can't get much better than that. I've really limited how much money I'm spending on wants. So go ahead, enter again for at least 2 weeks, preferably for the last month, and categorize these as best as you can. You don't have to be perfect. And then, take a good look at that when you're finished. Really focus on this category, the expenses by wants and needs. Take a look at how much you're spending on needs, wants, the proportion, and then just for fun at the categories and where is most of your money going. So go ahead and get to work.